Greetings, everybody. I'm Marguerite Rigoglioso of Seven Sisters Mystery School, and welcome to our YouTube show, Bridging Dimensions, where we inspire you and help you in your healing, spiritual growth path. I am here today with my dear sister friend, Dawn DelVecchio, who, as some of you may know, is a lineage holder of the Mother Spirit Rising tradition. And she is also the founder of the Return of the Priestess Summit series that she's done 3 of now. Four. Okay. So we are here to talk today about sort of the state of the world, to help you put in context things that you might be going through personally yourself, situate them in this spiritual awakening that we are all going through, and to support you with some preliminary tools and ideas, and also to give you a sneak peek of a weekend that we have coming up, our Soul Relief and Renewal online weekend together, November 3rd through 5th, which we are going to launch on October 8th. So you might want to get on either of our email lists, and we will also be having that registration here under the video come time. And we hope you will join us for that, because it's going to be a way that we can understand what's going on more deeply and then work with it to clear ourselves, to fill ourselves, to activate and integrate ourselves, and then to be able to emanate this light outward. And Dawn and I will talk about how we came to that weekend in our own Lady Cannabis ceremony, and the messages that we were given about what we're doing and why this is a critical time for everyone. But Dawn, let's just start with conversing about how we both see what's going on right now, especially as it's impinging on the emotional life of most people. Yeah. What are you experiencing personally? What are you seeing in clients and in family and in the world around you?
Yeah, great question, important question for these times. So we are really undergoing a tremendous amount of influx of light. And what I say is a quickening of the ascension energies. And that quickening is what it's doing is it's causing all of us to receive the frequency mismatch, receive awareness of the frequency mismatches that we still need to clear up. So in other words, if we're ascending to a higher frequency, all that is within us and around us that's in lower frequency is going to rise to the surface of our awareness to be cleared. So for those of us who have spiritual tools, this is still it's not a cakewalk.
No.
This is a very challenging time for all of us. We are faced with things not just in this incarnation that we may have buried, suppressed, ignored, or avoided, or simply weren't even aware of because it happened in early childhood, to clear, to raise up, to love up in frequency. But we're also dealing with the opportunity to get upgrades. And so as we clear this stuff, we get upgrades. Now, the challenge, of course, not only are we dealing with our own stuff, it's coming at us at a more rapid rate. So we're clearing one thing and we're like, yeah, right, okay, dealt with that. Wow, I forgave that. I let that go. And then boom, the next thing comes.
That's right.
So it's like, wait, don't I get a few brownie points for just having, done all that work? Right now, depending on your particular soul's journey, you're dealing with incarnational stuff, this incarnational stuff, other incarnational stuff, and then we're also dealing with the world at large. Yeah. So we have the what I call the kabuki theater of the collapse of 3D matrix consciousness out there in the world that we can, whether you're surfing the TV, the internet, you can find something to fuss and worry about. You can find something to get your knickers in a twist about. You can find something to polarize on one side about. Yeah. Or you can go, wow, there it is, the 3D matrix collapsing, unraveling, as I say.
Yeah.
But then we're also dealing with our interfacing with that matrix in the form of family relations, co-workers, employers, institutions that we have to navigate,
clients,
of course, clients. And most of whom, I don't know, depends on your clients who you work with, but most of the sort of regular world out there, they don't even have tools, let alone have awareness that we are undergoing a tremendous transformation on this planet.
Yeah.
And yet they're being bombarded with that light which is lighting up the shadows in their subconscious. Yeah. They're being sometimes perhaps overrun with high frequency energies with no tools to navigate it. So it is an unprecedented time on so many levels.
Yeah.
And it is my feeling that we, the light workers, starseeds, priestesses, we are at the leading edge to hold the light while simultaneously clearing up our own stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And how I'm seeing this happen in myself and in others is a number of different ways. Acute anxiety, acute depression, health issues suddenly cropping up, financial worries, and then, of course, the overall anxiety that everybody's having over what appears to be going on with the environment, the financial messages that were being given, the specter of potentially disastrous things happening. And so people are at like an unprecedented level of collective anxiety, it seems to me, and collective emotional distress, really like never before. And I mean, even I'll be honest, I wake up at night sometimes with various stresses that are happening in my life or not, and there's this overwhelming, engulfing, choking feeling of anxiety. And I'm like, what is this? Why does it feel like it's getting worse instead of better? And then I think about what I know, which is what you're saying, which is, well, we are having this influx of energy coming into us, literally more light, more photons, increased vibration. And we're also having the messages that are coming to us that are creating worry, right, around us. And so this is why. And it's hard enough to be a person who has tools, right? And knows how to go to the meditation cushion or the altar or use this visualization or that tapping technique or whatever, let alone the other people who are just plain having panic attacks or, whatever it is that's going on. And it becomes difficult to explain to them if they're not open to this viewpoint that there is a larger global awakening happening that is not necessarily going to be fun. If they don't have that viewpoint, the suffering, I think, is even worse. And, what I see, Dawn, is that we're moving into what I call fifth dimensional consciousness, or, deeper expanded knowing, greater telepathy, greater psychic skill, greater being able to access information at exceedingly high levels. And we thought it was going to be fun. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, let's all
unicorns.
Go into dimensional consciousness. Yeah. And nobody told us, well, you're going to have to go through, a real long slog to get there, because you are clearing up sludge, personal and collective and karmic. Yeah. Yeah. What, Dawn, how are you personally experiencing this?
Okay. So for me, a couple of things. One is I've definitely been through the waking up in the middle of the night, stress, anxiety that usually initiates by a particular event or circumstance in my life. Like I start worrying about it. And as I move along in this process and do more forgiveness work, more clearing, more self-care, more activation of my skills, my empathic and psychic skills, the more I'm able to say, okay, wait a minute, is this even mine? Is this even mine? Because our psychic abilities are activated more, where we might just be picking up other energies. So that's one thing. And that's decreased a bit over time. But what I'm navigating is some real major breakdowns in family members, family members who are not skilled in this stuff, who are very much in the old consciousness. And in that consciousness, believing some of the old paradigm, for example, that revenge is a valid thing, that the Western medical principles are the only ones, that we're all our body mind, there's no body mind connection, and so therefore you can solve a physiological health problem because with a chemical solution, because it's discrete and separate from all the rest of you, so non-holistic.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one. So being in a space of being loving with family members who are in that consciousness, and yet not getting caught in the miasma of distortion and the fear, and seeing increasing levels of anxiety and resourcelessness among family members.
Increasing levels of resourcelessness and anxiety. I mean, sometimes I just feel I suddenly have the sense, wow, it is so intense to be on planet Earth right now. I mean, it just even 10 years ago seems like a la-di-da, Eden-like realm to me compared to now. And, I keep thinking, mercy, when is it going to get better? When is it going to get better? And we have to just keep putting these tools together. So let's talk about some of the tools that we use, and that we will also be offering either these tools or others that we channel prior to this Soul Relief and Renewal weekend that we're doing November 3rd through 5th, because we are here to help everybody. We've been given a big message. Okay. The message that we got in ceremony was everybody is being bombarded with these higher level frequencies, photonic, whatever you want to call it. It's not too much. We can handle this, but spirit people need a real clearing and reset right now. That was the big message. And they're like, please mention this throughout the lands. It's a real important time for clearing and up leveling. And so that's how we decided what this weekend was going to be, was through that message with spirit, and that it is possible. And the other really interesting piece that came in was that the last few years, events of the last few years brought everybody into a lot more solitude. Almost, it's like there was a dual thing going on. One was the negative side that wanted to do its certain operations, and the other was the positive side that said, okay, well, we're going to use it and, make lemonade out of this situation. So the lemonade out of the solitude and the loneliness and the everything getting shut down and whatnot was that everybody got way more psychic. Yeah. And we don't basically even realize it. But what we will say is, when you now are with another person, or when you go into a room or an event, I don't know about you, but I've had the feeling of like, whoa, my God, this is a little too much. I'm taking in too much information. And that too muchness is we've gotten more psychic. We're picking up telepathically on what's going on in a room, right? So also this weekend is designed to help everybody integrate that energy a lot better for your bona fide psychic intuitional expansion, rather than just your overwhelm. And I was wondering if you wanted to say anything about that.
Yeah. Let me just tune in here. Yeah, there's a way in which this more sensitive psychic capacity can, until it's like learning to ride a bike. Until we get that balance and we can ride that bike, it can be very easy to pick up someone else's anxiety, fear, whatever, and fall off the bike, go back into the 3D, go into the battlefield of like, the fear, the contraction, the contractive energies, and then, feel like our knees are bruised from falling off the bike. But we're not doing it wrong. We're just learning. We're literally learning. How can I be in this world and not of it? How can I be psychic, empathic in a world that is a mishmash right now of old consciousness, old fears that are heightened by the intensity, and all of this light that's available to us for a rapid ascension in consciousness.
Yeah.
And so it's not some kind of smooth journey. This goes back to, and there's no bunnies and unicorns.
Well, there are, but you have to kind of navigate to get into it.
They're not coming to guide us. We have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, so it can be messy, and our self-care is crucial right now. It's absolutely crucial, because we are the ones who are able to be sometimes the clearer of the lineage, the bearer of light in our village, the leader when no one else can pick up the mantle of that. And we do that by loving ourselves up in frequency, but also by clearing. So that's part of our vision. Like, if you were to visualize, part of what we were wanting to do for our this sacred container we're creating is to first clear. So imagine you're a vessel, but you've got some holes in the vessel. So we're going to clear any gunk that's in there, energetically, symbolically, literally, through our own intention and attention. Plug up any holes, and then that makes us a more solid vessel to hold and flow more light, to be able to receive psychic impressions of the people around us without feeling like you've just been dagger hit by them. So we can hold the light and really feel, oh, I can feel there's some struggle here, there's a headache there, there's this, but it's not mine. And so I just come and be in the love energy in service. This is going to be definitely a fall into bliss kind of weekend, because it is so good to be in a group doing the clearing work and having someone guide it for you, and you don't have to mentally think of how to do it. It is so good to do putting the integrity back with your vessel, because parts of our chakras have been punctured and things like that. We just really want that container full. It feels really good to do the integration and to own the intuition and the psychic upgrade. And it feels really good then to do what we will take everybody into, which is activating your goals on a deeper level, your prosperity and your goals on a deeper level, and then radiating this energy outward into the world as a blessing. So it's going to be, that's why we call it the Soul Relief and Renewal weekend, because it's going to be really a place of just taking the out breath collectively together, being held in a feather bed, and being able to do this work and these operations without any duress, so that we can come out not only feeling better, which is a critical part of it, but feeling more fortified and more purposeful for what's next. It's like we were given the message, this is a critical moment for humanity, for people who are in the camp of wanting to develop spiritually. And so, here we are with all this. Let's go into then the self-care aspect, because Marguerite, she gets a little confused about what self-care is, because I like to be an oracle and I like my work, and that's my happy place. So sometimes I'm like spending all this time being the oracle about big global events and things, and writing it down and doing the marketing for this, that, and the other thing. It is a happy place for me. And then I realized, wow, that is Marguerite, the holy woman, not Marguerite, the human woman. Oh, that's a wonderful distinction.
And I have heard this is something that the Arcturians are famous for. Not that I identify as being from there, but the Arcturians are famous for putting mission before personal.
Oh,
and I think a lot of us on Earth, whatever star system we feel or sense that we're part of, or not, maybe you just have that sense of wanting to be of service. We can put mission before our humanness. Okay. So what does self-care for the human look like
Mm.
right now?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I think to some degree it's different for each person, but let's say just broad categories, we have to have a connection with the divine. We have to have,
Mhm.
I feel for me, absolutely a daily practice. I have a daily practice of meditation, prayer. I'm a Course in Miracles student, so communing with the higher guidance and the master teacher Jesus, with Divine Mother, that's essential to me. And then there's the physical, like these body mind vehicles need to be loved. They need to
Yeah.
be taken care of. So depending on who you are, again, how much in your body you are, taking care of the vessel through exercise, good nutrition,
Yeah.
kindness, just kindness.
Yeah.
So for example, I'm very much like you, mission first. And I can find myself literally sitting at my desk all day
Yeah.
long,
Hours.
one creative thing after another. And then my knees are stiff. I'm kind of like creaky and
Yeah. And you're tense. My God,
Yeah.
my abdomen is all. Ugh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that physical care is important. And then I think being with others who you can speak in truth with. You know, I have my community, I know you have your community,
Yeah.
and those gatherings where you are in a container with those who you can speak to, they will hold space for you without judgment or advice, and you can be in your authentic self and speak your magical unicorn language or whatever, or your deepest, darkest struggle right now. That cannot be underestimated, the value of it, not to affirm the struggle, but rather to not hold it inside.
To release.
To release.
Release.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, my self-care sometimes consists of this. My God, Mother Mary, help me. You know, okay, I'll admit. But you know, or versions of that. There are higher level versions of that. But no, I sometimes during those middle of the night spells where I like can't get out of it, I'll just be like, okay, time to go to the altar. I don't know. This is like the middle of the night, 3 a.m. thing. And it has helped me. You know, I have the photo, the images of Mother Mary and Jesus and, you know, other masters and things. And I just start going in there. And one night I just went deeply into the feeling. I was like, what is even this feeling? And I just saw the feeling for what it was. And then I had been led by another healer to bring my inner child to come into me and connect our pranic fields, our chakras together. And when I did that, I realized that these emotions were like flames outside of us, that they weren't us. And it was like the first time I had the realization, okay, call me slow, but the first time I had the realization that I was not my feelings.
Yeah.
Now that was really important, because then what I was able to do at the altar, sitting with Mother Mary and Jesus, because they'll give you the information, you know, that you need right in the moment. I was able to see that I could bring the flames of purifying fire to those emotional tendrils and flames. And then it dissipated, you know, that emotional grip dissipated.
This is a wonderful thing to do when I'm thinking the core issues that'll get us, money and fear, that whole survival thing, which is in the big out there world. They are pushing that button like
big time,
constantly, like a little child who's found a little musical toy, and they're just going to push it and push it and trying to activate all of our fears. So we have to know that and recognize when we are here to be in divine service in whatever way, taking care of our families, being a light in our jobs, whatever it is, we are supported. And so turning off that noise and when it catches us, applying this kind of process, very simple, but very powerful. Same thing with health concerns. I mean, the core things, relationship, where you're in a knot of communication or miscommunication with someone you love. Yeah. You know, say, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to use an intentional inner practice to allow this to clear. Yeah. So that I come back to my right mind, to my own ordered thinking, and open to receive the higher guidance. And one of the things I'll do when I'm really in that knot and I don't know the way is I recognize, oh, my ego's trying to figure this out. My ego cannot figure this out. My ego created these problems in the first place. So I say, Holy Mother Spirit Sophia, I step back and let you lead. Show me the way.
Yeah.
Or if I'm working with Jesus, beloved brother, I step back, show me the way. Whatever, your guidance is, let me step back and let higher guidance drop the answer in. And then don't stay in the question. This is the other thing. We have to really let it go, like move on to something else. Cook your breakfast, do a prayer, take a bath, something different, and not stay in the please question.
Yeah, because I get into problem solving mode, as my clairvoyant mentor says. And I realized that's what I had to do as a child, because the environment wasn't safe. The adults really weren't taking care of things. So I had to anticipate what was needed, what was going on, and be in continual problem solving, thinking that that was going to resolve the emotional turmoil within me. And I still do that. And I think a lot of people do. And I think it's what you're referring to perhaps is the ego, we can mentally, if we just get the right thought form or figure it out, we'll feel better. And you're talking about the grace of working with these masters, which is a really, we need to know that they are there and put out a call. And the other thing that came in the medicine ceremony that I did with my Sacred Feminine Plant Medicine Academy, we did a cacao ceremony on what the world needs now is love. So what started rolling in was the prerequisite to love is peace, peace in your heart and your soul. The prerequisite to peace is physical relaxation. Okay. And then somebody else came in and said, oh, the prerequisite to physical relaxation is breath. So it's that process of breath, physical relaxation, peace, and then you can really embrace or emanate love in a way that you might not have been able to, because, we're all walking around thinking, well, I should be more loving. I should be more loving. And meanwhile, all of this mental and emotional turmoil is going on. How are you accessing the love? Well, let's break it down and move backward, a few steps so that we can work up to the love again. Right.
Yeah. This makes a lot of sense in terms of the physiology of the body, because when we feel threatened, the body goes into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Say that 5 times fast. So when we're in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, there's physiological phenomena that goes on. The blood goes to the core of the being. We get very, very selfish. And this is what we saw 3 something years ago. Very, very fearful, very, very much making short-term decisions without really considering the long-term potentialities. So none of that is conducive to breath, is shallow breathing, to relaxation, to the capacity to be in the heart and to extend love, to extend generosity, because again, the ego mind, the left brain, you can call it, the ego mind's job, we talked about this at lunch, is to keep the body alive.
Yes.
And so the efforts to keep everyone in fear, whether it's health fear, money fear, job fear,
environmental
fear, Earth's going to die.
Big thing. The sky is falling, Chicken Little.
Yeah. Exactly. They're all ways to contract us and keep us in a state of short-term decision making and that inability to relax. And again, we have the opportunity here. If you're watching this, you're already in a consciousness that is what I would say at the leading edge of the transformation of consciousness of humanity.
Yeah.
That's not to diminish our sisters and brothers at all.
No.
We are all beloved children of the one.
Everybody's learning the lessons that they need to learn, and so many of us want to bring others into the reality of what we're doing, and they're fighting tooth and nail because that's not their lesson plan. And so we really need to get into acceptance about that as well.
Acceptance. And it's not our job to change everyone or anyone, but it is our job to hold the highest frequency, to be in the most peace, to extend love, and to do that, of course, to be in the self-care necessary for that.
That's right. I want to get back to a little more self-care, but let's talk about trust. Okay. That is a big one for me, because, as a child, I had a mother who was ill, died when I was 10 years old. Then we had a whole bunch of familial trauma that happened with caretakers coming in who were abusive. None of that fosters trust in the world, much less in the universe. So it's all well and good to say, well, you just have to trust that things will work out, or, trust that it's all for the best. And then, but when you're gripped and you've had that lived experience with all those traumas that like things can go wrong, and they do, and, you're trying to do everything you can to mitigate anything going wrong, you're not in trust. You are in, again, a kind of a global problem-solving mode. So trust is a discipline like anything else for many people, especially me. Some other people are more naturally trusting. But coming back to all of those things that need to happen with the body, with the breath, with the peace, and then you can get to trust and love, and all. Is there anything else you wanted to say about trust?
Let me feel into what's present for me here about this. Well, for me, I trust in a higher order. So it's not about trust of humans particularly. We're all having our human experience. We make mistakes, sometimes with the best of intentions, right? But trusting in a higher order, that there's a reason for this. There's a reason why I'm waking up to a different awareness in this incarnation. There's a reason why I've chosen to be on the planet at this time. I'm not a victim of the world I see. And so trusting in that higher order.
Yeah.
And it's not a blind trust, because at the same time, I know I am totally responsible for my life. If I want my consciousness to raise, I have to do the work. Yeah. So I'm not just going, oh, I'm trusting it's all going to work out in the end. Let me go continue with my unconscious life. No, it's not that kind of trust. It's trusting in a higher order and recognizing that I am part of the solution. I came to be part of the solution, which means whatever comes up into my lane, my field of awareness, whether it's family, career, money, worries, all the usual suspects, it's my work right there, present for me, to raise up, to love up in higher frequency through forgiveness, through reducing fear, through finding solutions by asking for higher guidance. That's how I apply this concept of trust in my life.
Yeah, blessed be. And I was inspired to bring in also the idea that one thing that can help us so much, and I've received this so much over the years, I'm sure you have as well, is getting out with nature.
Oh, yeah.
Because the more we are in enclosed rooms with computer screens, in urbanized environments, the less we are connected with the things that can give us trust, the bigger picture feeling, a sense of the beauty of the planet and so forth. So we really need to be out in natural, wild, raw nature as much as possible. If you don't have it around you, get there, or create something in your life, in your apartment, plants or a bed of succulents, or, something like that. Have animals, pets with you that remind you of the sweetness and the innocence and the wildness of nature. So because these beings that are associated with the natural world, we might call the fairies, the fae, the she, the elemental beings, are another, the dragons and the unicorns that, they're trying not to take offense at what she said earlier, right? But they are there. That these beings are just on the other side of the veil, just as much as Jesus, Blessed Mother, Kuan Yin, Vishnu, Shiva, whoever it is that you call on. And they are allies. They are almost like closer brothers and sisters to us than some of these other ascended masters, right? And we're just starting to have this understanding of their ecosystem and who they are and their lineages and their, all of that sort of thing. So did we want to speak any more about the nature spirits and the nature? formations and plants and things like that?
Yeah, just a little bit, because for me, the other piece of self-care is I live in the forest. Those of you who know me, I live in the forest, and I wander in nature. I put my feet on the earth every day. I hug trees. I have trees that are my friends. I ask the Davic realm to speak to me, which doesn't happen for me in words, but rather guidance that unfolds. And I feel like this is a massive thing for our central nervous system. And for the physiological body. We know that earthing actually pulls EMFs from the body. So any way you can get into nature. I mean, I have sisters in my community who live in urban environments, but who will walk in their park barefoot, not caring about the other urban people who look at them weirdly for being barefoot in the grass. And I do it as well when I'm, in urban places.
Yeah. And that's so important what you said, that the messages might not come in terms of verbal cognitive packets, but more information that will make itself apparent as things go on, or even synchronicities or things like that. And we all know that when we get in the woods, don't you feel better? When you go by the ocean, don't you feel better? This is an example of us getting reattuned to the frequencies that are in nature, that bring us to our peace, that bring us to our bodies, and that bring us to our self-care, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. So let's talk about, we've talked somewhat about self-care. Let's talk a little bit about self-love. What is it?
Okay, there's an open question.
Self-love, what is it? Discuss amongst yourselves, all right? Yeah, let's just tune into what might want to come around that. All right, well, one thing that comes in is something I've gotten repeatedly in medicine ceremonies. All that is being asked of us, actually, to release our karma or heal, is to love ourselves. And it is the easiest and hardest thing to be asked to do. But it would automatically clear all the karma that goes back into our past or parallel lives, all of which was created through lack of self-love, that was based in wounding and so forth. And so that if we really click in with this full understanding of what self-love is, and we engage it as a practice, we will be able to do deeper and deeper levels of this healing. The karma will take care of itself. There's no more amends making to do once you fully love yourself. Any thoughts about that, or that have come in for you about self-love?
Yeah, I apply the principles of Course in Miracles in the concepts here. So in this realm, we've been operating in a split mind. Part of the mind is the ego, the left brain, the rational, the part that sees the separate discrete parts. The other part is the Holy Spirit, you could call it, the divine awareness, the part of us that is always connected with our divine creator. And so we live in as English speakers, we are speaking a language in which all the different ways of describing love have come down to one 4-letter word. And so that confuses us, because we think about, what is love, and what is ego, and what is all that stuff. So for me, it's really about, again, attuning with our higher divine self. And that takes practice, because the ego will come in and say things like, you're not worthy of love, or you're just, you think you're all that, or whatever. When actually this is about a remembrance. It's a humbleness when you say, I am a holy child of the divine. I am her child, and therefore loved without condition. Extremely powerful, extremely creative. And that is going to take, it's the removal of all the layers, the obstructions between the love that we are deep inside and the beliefs otherwise, the stories, the tales, the memories, all of that. So love is a thing that we can point to it, kind of like enlightenment. but we can't necessarily make it happen. We can't make it happen for someone else. This is an inside job for us to really own and practice with our training wheels. I am a beloved child of the divine. I am loved without condition. I may not feel it right now, but I'm willing to receive that. And then there's the moments of a miracle where we actually open and feel it.
Yes. And we want more of that. All right. That is what we're aiming for.
It's what we came for.
It's what we came for. And, you know, people who have crossed over to the other side and then come back comment oftentimes that the light that they see has this engulfing, overwhelming love, this
yes,
unconditional acceptance combined with love, and that it is so overpowering. You know, it's what we're all seeking whenever we do anything thrilling or happy inducing, or, you know, it's what's underneath people's use of substances, right? Because sometimes they can get to that place. Unfortunately, they're hooking in with things that then there's other things that come in that are not of that pure connectivity that you're talking about. That is what we want to get to. That is the way of Eden, right? That is how we were originally living in the Eden realms. And then we could go from there. We could, it wasn't boring. It was just the baseline. Okay. And then you could go into higher and higher levels of creativity from there. And that's almost even challenging for us to imagine, because we're like, well, you know, once you achieve that, what else is there to do? You're going to be sitting on the couch and just being blissed out
on a cloud playing
the harp, you know. But no, there's so many deeper levels that you go to of co-creation in the universe when you get there. So that's something to look forward to. All right.
Yeah.
So, Dawn, let's talk a little bit more about our weekend together and how this is rolling in, which again is the Soul Relief and Renewal weekend. That's going to be November 3rd through 5th, Friday through Sunday, with a bonus call on November 8th.
Yes.
And we're going to be opening the enrollment to that on October 8th. So watch for either under this video or our newsletter list, Seven Sisters Mystery School. You can go to our website and sign up for the newsletter. And how can they find you?
DawnDelVecchio.com.
Yeah. And so we will be sending out those notifications. But yeah, we already talked a little bit about the directive and sort of mission we were given about this weekend to help people clear and integrate all of this light that's been coming into them, whether they realize it or not, so that they can feel better and go to new levels. What else do we want to say about this weekend?
Sacred safe container. Inviting sisters and brothers to this, because it's not just the priestesses who are the light bearers in this time, and we all could use that support. So one thing I want to say too is, you know, when we talked about this when we first got the download, it's like, if we're going to hold this container, guess what? We're going to get the initiations to prepare,
which is in the morning,
which is what we've been dealing with. We've each been dealing with some powerful initiations in the recognition, even though there's those times like, really, am I dealing with this? But then we move through. It's like, yes, this is the initiation in order to hold for our sisters and brothers. And we will be taking you on a journey in a safe, sacred space, a ceremonial space, where you get to, at different levels, you know, there'll be energy tools and prayer and meditation and what we download to do, your own journaling, your own expressions, to clear what's the gunk that's time to go. And then fill up, you know, plug up the holes. Where are you leaking energies? Where is it not serving you to let your energy go this way or that way? And to fill those, and then fill the vessel, so that your psychic gifts are more upgraded, so that you actually have more access and awareness and discernment of the energies you're navigating, and so that you're actually have had a respite, a restoration, a rest from the madness or just the day-to-day grind of whatever you might be moving through. So you're fortified and restored for this next level, because we are now coming into another year they're still pushing the buttons of fear. That ain't going to stop. So it's up to us to upgrade so that we stay above those frequencies, even if we have to dip in there with family or whatever, especially if we have to do that. So this is really that opportunity to, just as we say, you know, the rest, the restoration, the renewal, and the ability to rise up to the next energetic tier, if you will.
That's right. And this is for anyone who is interested in personal healing, personal growth, spiritual growth and development, and spiritual acceleration. And it might be that you have a ministry of some kind also, but not necessarily. It might be that you're a healer of some kind, but not necessarily. We really want this to be available to and for people, for anybody to be able to identify and say, yes, I could use that.
Yeah. And I would say, just to even specify that a little bit more, this is particularly important for anyone who finds himself in any leadership role, whether that's career-wise or caretaking role, whether that's children, aging parents, someone else in your life that you're the caretaker for. Very, very important that you fill the cup. It's just like that analogy of, you can't exhale all the time. You got to inhale too, right? they work in tandem. This is your inhale.
Yeah.
And also for those who are really, if you're feeling a lot of contraction around any area, but I would say money too, because this is the one where light workers, starseeds, the old souls will deny themselves as some kind of, well, you know, I don't really have the resources, or I really, you know, it's important that other people get this care or whatever. All of that stuff it's sometimes almost a false humility. It's like, if we want to be able to surf these waves of ascension and not be, we're no good to ourselves or anyone else if we get bowled under by them. So the things that cause you contraction in your life that may justify why you don't want to do this, really just be open to look, maybe shift your perspective a little and say, is that true? Is that just resistance? Because the ego mind will resist anything that it feels threatened by. And our consciousness ascension into new levels of awareness are a big threat to the ego. So it'll throw up all kinds of stuff at you. You don't have the money for that. You got that weekend, you got to take care of so-and-so. You promised such and such. Whatever it is. Oh, you're going to do this other thing. Oh, what? All of those things. Sometimes it's up to you to discern, right?
Yeah.
But just open to the possibility of saying, is this ego resistance? Can I shift my perspective and just see, is there something more here? Because your light is needed right now. Your light, your capacity to hold that light, to emanate that light, to receive that light, is going to be the thing that lets you surf the waves and not be bowled under them. It is the holy service at this time for our human collective.
That's right. Whether you do anything at all in the public realm or not, you know, just what you're radiating in your, even if you have a 9-to-5 job or whatever it is, it's important for you to be that light bearer, right? And also we are going to be activating our purpose more deeply, and our goals, looking at our goals and amplifying them, and enhancing our prosperity codes as part of this, as part of what Dawn was saying. So yes, so that's some of what's coming up for this Soul Relief and Renewal weekend, November 3rd through 5th, and we hope that you will join us. Is there anything else you would like to say, Dawn, today about the weekend, or about anything else that people might need to hear at this time who are watching?
Yes. You came here for a reason. You're watching this video for a reason. You came to this life for a reason. This is an opportunity to accelerate at a soul level more than most other incarnations. So let us lift as we rise. Let us support each other in this incredible opportunity that, while at times feels challenging, when we're on the other side of this life, we'll be high-fiving each other for all the decisions of love that we make for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And this weekend that we're doing is really the pause that refreshes in this train of what feels like grit, and it's requiring a lot of stamina. We don't know how long this is going to go on, right? But we need these periodic oases so that we can refill the camel and then plod on again in the desert, you know, as we are making our way to the new Eden, essentially. All right. Well, with that, everybody, we say goodbye to you. Thank you for coming to Bridging Dimensions. We ask that you like and share this video, that you subscribe to the Marguerite Rigoglioso YouTube channel, that you take a look at sevensistersmysteryschool.com and dawndelvecchio.com to find out more about us and the other resources that we have available for you. And with that, we'll say bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.